Nerd Room Public Access Television, home of Boomer the Nerd, presents Third Time's a Charm. Today we're taking a look at my Sega Genesis collection. It's geeking time. Third time's a charm. That's the theme. Well, not really. The reason why I'm saying that third time is a charm is because I filmed this video. This is the third time I'm doing this, okay? I filmed it for the first time about 4 years ago. All my files got corrupted, so I could not upload it for you guys. I filmed it again last year. Once again, the files got corrupted, so I don't know what happened. I'm filming this for a third time, and I'm crossing my fingers, hoping to myself that third time is a charm here. Well, with that being said, today, like I said, we're taking a look at my Sega Genesis collection. Now, this is just a box. This is not the original console. This is from At Games. At Games. Basically, what this is that it's 80 built-in video games. I got this for Christmas back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And it comes with all the classics, all your Sonics, everything like that. And I figured today would be fun to take a look at what's inside this box. Take a look at the video games that came packed in here. As you can see, there's a lot of them. Don't worry, we'll go through all the video games. And then I will show you, because this box here, this console, plays cartridges from the Sega Genesis. So, not only am I going to show you all the games on here, the crappy controllers, the controllers I had to buy to go with this thing, I will show you my collection of all the Sega Genesis carts that I have, and the ones that are and I have some that are still in case, but I have some that are basically loose. So we're going to go over all of that. So I figured this would be a fun video today. We're going to do a little bit of an amalgamation. Let's get right into taking a look at the console, and then we're going to move on to my actual cartridge collection. Let's get into it, guys. Sega! So, here's the box like I was showing you guys. Cool photo of Sonic right on here. Shows you the console with the controllers it comes with. It also promotes the fact that it's got all three Mortal Kombat games that were released for the Sega Genesis. As you can see down here as well, you got some images for Mortal Kombat, as well as the covers for Sonic and Sonic 2. And this is what, like I said, this is what got me right here. It says compatible with Genesis cartridges, and that's when I first saw this. I was so interested in this just for that. But I'm gonna tell you, that's one of the things that makes it the most interesting. That's probably the only thing that makes this console interesting. But then if you look on the side, it just gives you some more information. I don't want to take too much time showing you the box because it's just basically a box. There you go. Plug into TV, plug and play. On the back here, it does show you all the games that come built in. Do not worry, we will take a look at every single game that's built in here on the television. I will show you guys all that. But just quickly, it shows you pretty much, it's really tiny thumbnails, but it just shows you all the covers of all the video games and all the, let's talk about that later. So that's just the box that it looks like. Now if I put it down, I'm going to open this up. And let me bring my camera down a bit. Let's open up the box itself. There we go. And then, there we go, that'll stay like that. Then when you get inside of the contents, there's nothing really underneath, just like a classic game console booklet, which you don't really need. Oh, 10% off, but that was expired in 2017, so sorry about that, guys. It just, basically what this booklet does is like your old school booklets for the video games. Just gives you information on some of the games and how to basically play them. That's all that crap is. I'll put this right back in, this egg carton looking thing. Basically it comes with the VG cables, the yellow and white. You've got this plug to plug into the console and plug into the socket. This is the console itself, and as they said, you can put the top loaders, like it's a top loader, so you can put your games in there. It's by a company called At Games, like I mentioned, and it's got the Sega Genesis logo. So there's your ports on the back. And then right here, this right here, which is really shoddily done, is meant for the wireless controllers. And oh boy, those controllers. Let me show you this. I'm just going to show you one of them. This is what the controller looks like. It's a pretty decent looking controller. This is where the signal sends from to get to here. This is not responsive at all. These controllers do not respond. We tried so hard to play with them, but they have a lack of response. It's not even funny. I had to go ahead and pick up this controller here by Retrobit, which looks almost the same thing. However, this is a wired controller. It's getting all tangled up here. Oh boy, hang on a second, guys. Hang on a sec, bear with me as I untangle this. There we go. And you basically just plug it right into the controller, just like the old Sega Genesis. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think this controller, this console is still in circulation. If it is, and you're interested in getting this instead of the Genesis Mini, get this Retrobit controller over and toss this shit out, because this is not going to be fun to use whatsoever. It's going to be a lot better to, use this. So I'm going to take this out because we're going to demonstrate this afterwards. That's pretty much the contents of what's inside the box, what this box came packed with, because I figured I'd spend a little time telling you about the box. Now, with this out of the way, the box itself and all the contents out of the way, and what the console looks like, let me show you guys the games that are built in. So in order to do that, you're going to have to go over to my TV screen. Alrighty guys, so here it is. Just bear with me. Let me turn on my television so we can, well, television's already on. Let me turn on the console so I can show you the games on here. There we go. So as promised, I would show you guys all the games that come included on this console. First thing first, we have Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle. What a difficult game series. Then we have, bear with me guys, my controller for some reason is plugged in but not working. Sorry about that, don't know what happened. So like I said, Alex Kidd. And we got Alien Storm, Altered Beast, difficult game but fun. Arrow Flash, which I've actually never played. And we got Bonanza Brothers. We have Chicon, which is basically a sword fight, hack slash type game. Then you got Columns and Columns 3. They excluded Columns 2. Don't ask me why they did that. But Columns are basically like Tetris. Here's one that I used to play often on the Sega Genesis, was Comic Zone. It was brutally difficult, but I loved the shit out of it. Then you got Crackdown, which I've never played that one either. Go to the next one, we got Decap Attack, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like a mummy. And you got Echo the Dolphin and Echo Jr. These games are brutally difficult. If you want to see more on how brutally difficult the Echo games are, go watch AVGN's episode on Echo. Yeah. And you got eSWAT, which is a shoot 'em up game. Fatal Labyrinth. Flicky, I'm not sure what that is. Some of these games I haven't played, so. You got Gain Ground. Again, I haven't played that one either. You got the Golden Axe trilogy, which are also very tough, brutal games to play. Jewel Master, which I've never played. Kid Chameleon, same thing. Maybe I should try this. Then you got Mean Bean Machine, which I think this is a Tetris clone. I could be very wrong as well. Then you got all 3 Mortal Kombat games. Look, there's no really need to talk about Mortal Kombat. It's one of the greatest fighting games of all time. Let's be honest here. Rystar, this is a really fun one. This is kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, so it's a lot of fun. Shadow Dancer, which is basically a samurai type game. Another samurai game, which is really balls to the wall difficult, is Shinobi 3. Now we're getting into the Sonic games. You've got Sonic and Knuckles, classic game between these two. You got Sonic Spinball. And of course you got Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Two of the greatest games, in my opinion, of all time. Yeah, Sonic is what got most people into wanting a Sega Genesis, let's be honest, me included. Then you got the really awesome beat 'em up games, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. I love these. These are so much fun. We also have the Ooze, which, again, I've never played this, so I don't know what it is. You got Vector Man and Vector Man 2, which is a really neat 3D style game where the guy's basically just a bunch of balls amalgamated together. And the final game that was originally released for Sega Genesis is Virtua Fighter 2, which is somewhat of a 3D animated game. It's basically a clone of Street Fighter, basically. And then we get over here and we come to all the really shitty games that are just filling up space, like Air Hockey, Black Sheep, don't know what that is, Bomber, which I think is supposed to be Bomberman, Bottle Taps Race, don't know, Brain Switch, Bulls and Cows, Cannon, I don't know what that is either, Checker, Chess, guys, Color Puzzle, Cross the Road, Curling 2010, because this was released a long time ago, Dominant Color, which I think is supposed to be like Tetris, Fight or Lose, Firefly Glow, Flash Memory, Formula Challenge, Hexagonos, Jax P, Jewel Magic, which is another Tetris clone. There's a lot of them, guys. Logic Dial, Mahjong, Match 11, Magic Brain Switch again, Memory, Memory Match, Mirror Mirror, Mr. Balls, which sounds really bad, Naval Power, sorry, which I think is supposed to be Battleship, Panic Lift, yeah, it keeps going, Reaction Match, Snake, Space Hunter, Sparkling Truffle, Spider, Sudoku, I don't know why Sudoku's on here, Table Magic, Treasure Hunt, Warehouse Keeper, Whack-A-Wolf. And then you go back to the beginning. So basically, out of 80 built-in games, you're getting about 40 from the Sega Genesis, like the actual Sega Genesis releases. And then you get an extra 40 that are these crappy space fillers that you really don't need on here. All right, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's take a look at my entire Sega Genesis game collection. So it was a fun look at the stuff that's on the console itself. But now, with that being said, I got Genesis games. Yes, I do. I've got Genesis games. How about you? Retro collectors, you probably do. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show every game one by one, and I'm going to show you guys what I have in my collection. I'm basically going to start with the shittiest game in my collection, my least favorite, the shittiest, to my most favorite. And then after that, I'll show you guys the games that I have that are still in box. So let's move this to the side. Don't want to take up too much space here. I'll move these cartridges as well to the side because we're going to start with all this pile of shitty goodness so we can clear the slate. There, let me move my camera a bit. All right. So first things first. This game came to me from a former friend. And the only reason why I have this game is because he really wanted to play it. I basically told him not to. It's not a good game. You're going to be disappointed. And if it's just for one night, why are you purchasing this on the Sega Genesis? But he insisted and insisted. And was like, we're going to play. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be a great game to play. And I was like, no, it's not. So here, let me just put this into frame for now. Batman Forever. Ugh, this game is just... This game is garbage. It really is. I don't like this game at all. It's a Mortal Kombat clone in a sense, and it's just really a piece of shit game. I'm going to be honest, it's a really garbage game. If you're curious about this game and you've never played it, don't. I don't recommend playing it, actually. No, it's really not a good game at all. A few of these shitty games are from that friend because y'all thought that they were going to be really fun. So, this one, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. It's not that it's a shitty game, it's just very difficult, and you can't really get past the first stage. That's the problem with Batman, The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega Genesis. I don't know why, what was the need to make this game so brutally difficult, but it seems like it's a trend with a lot of these 16-bit video games and 8-bit video games. It was like, let's make it as difficult as possible. But I digress. We got WWF Raw. This is a game that I chose. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun to play. Wrestling's Rudest and Roughest, and you've got Undertaker, Yokozuna, Lex Luger, Razor Ramon, and looks like that's Bret the Hitman Hart. Yeah, this is by Acclaim. Yeah, not much really to say about this game. I don't really find it that fun. My favorite old school WWF game is actually WWF the arcade game, the one that's done in the vein of Mortal Kombat. I love that game a lot, actually. It's just so random and ridiculous, and all the special moves come from out of nowhere. Then we got Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. That's the same friend who picked this game up for me. His heart was in the right place because it's Spider-Man, my favorite superhero, and it's the X-Men, and he knows that I'm a huge fan of Storm. So yeah, but it's a really odd and very difficult game as well to play. If you haven't tried it, maybe check it out. If you're a fan of the X-Men or if you're a fan of Spider-Man, it could be worth your time, honestly. It's just that I get frustrated every time I pop it in and play. Not as frustrated, however, as this right here, X-Men for the Sega Genesis. Not the Clone Wars or the Clone Saga. This is just X-Men from 1995. Yeah. I still to this day not sure what I'm supposed to do in this video game. I love the X-Men. But yeah, it's super complicated for nothing. I don't know why. But for some reason, this next game, it's super complicating, and I can only get, I think, to like the second stage, and then I rage quit. But someday I'm going to find a way to fight it because I have so much fond memories of it when I was younger. This is Taz in Escape from Mars. This was a game that I had a lot of fun playing when I was younger. I loved this game a lot. But yeah, if you can get your hands on this game, or if you can get an emulator, definitely try out Taz in Escape from Mars. It's a lot of fun. Same thing for this one. It's a lot of fun, but it's really difficult. Ghostbusters for the Sega Genesis. I love this game. But again, be warned, it's difficult. And I love that it says 16-bit on the back. Wondering if this is a bootleg game now. With the label coming off. It could very well be a bootleg cartridge that they put the game on. I'm not sure, but hey, it runs like a Sega Genesis game. So in that case, I'm not complaining. I think I got 4 other loose cartridge games. I've got Primal Rage. This game is so fun. This is a fighting game, and I love it a lot. Basically, you're using like a bunch of Yetis and dinosaurs, so it's really fun. It's basically your Mortal Kombat, but with primal animals. Then we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, which is a beat 'em up. A lot of fun, this game. I love this one a lot. I actually never played it until I was an adult, so really like this game. Then we got Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition. I don't know how many versions of this game I have in my household. I think I got the Super Nintendo version. I've got a version of this on Dreamcast, probably, on the Nintendo Switch. So I just have a whole bunch of copies of Street Fighter 2. I'm also wearing the Street Fighter 2 t-shirt. So it's definitely my favorite fighting game of all time. So obviously I have it the 16-bit era. And the final cartridge actually is, apart from Street Fighter 2, this is I love this game. This is the one that I have the most fond memories of playing as a kid until this day. I don't care if people hate on it. I love this game. It comes from Cheem Video. Don't know where Cheem Video is, but it comes from there. I don't know. It's so nostalgic to me that even when I pop it in, I'm like, this is so not that fun. I love it so much. I can't help myself but continue to play this game and just beat the game over and over again. And it brings back so many memories. That's what you call like your safe space. That video game for me, Power Rangers, is my safe space. Before I take a look at the boxed games, lo and behold, like I said, look at that. Fits right into the console. And boom, magic happens and you can play the games. Look at that. All right, so when it comes to the games in case, first things first I have is Spider-Man. This, I believe, is the first Spider-Man game for the Sega Genesis. Shows on the back right there. I'm not going to read it all up. Read it. You guys can pause it if you want. You can take a look at all that and that stuff there. Okay. This one comes with the booklet, which is really cool. So it's complete. I'm just going to flip through the booklet quickly. I love that they show Dr. Octopus, the Lizard, Electro, the Sandman, the Hobgoblin, Venom, the Kingpin. Oh man, it's cool. All this stuff in this booklet is really neat. And here you have the cartridge itself. Spider-Man. That's what it looks like on the back. So that's a lot of fun. Whoop. There you go. Put that to the side. Then we got Eternal Champions. This is a really fun fighting game. And that's what it looks like on the back. So there you go. You can pause and read that up. This one does not have the booklet. But here is the cartridge. So that's a lot of fun. I like that a lot. Yeah, like I said, it's basically like your Street Fighter clone. I really enjoyed it a lot. So then we got NBA Jam, one of my, that's probably my favorite sport game of all time. It's the side. There's the back again if you want to pause and read it up. Got it? Got it? Cool. And then the cart, that's what it looks like. It's very clean, the motherboard. There you go. Love to get myself the tournament edition. That one seems really fun. And then the last game I have here is Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage. This game is so brutal, I can't even get past the first stage. I can get past, well, actually no, I can get past the first stage, but then I die right away in the second stage. So, I don't know. It's just so damn brutal. It's one of the funnest games I've ever played, even though it's really difficult. And then you got, let me put that down for a second. You got the booklet. And this booklet's really neat. That's a really cool booklet. I like this a lot. Shows you everything in there. All the heroes. All the stages. Some really cool stuff. Then you got some comic book artwork in there. So yeah, it looks really good. Just trying to go through this quickly. There's some ads out here. Green Jelly. What an underrated heavy metal band. So yeah, that's the booklet. And then the cartridge itself. Whoa. Come back. Cartridge itself is red. I love that look. I think the Sega Super Nintendo cart was red also. Yeah, love the look of this cartridge. It's really fun. All right, let's pop that back in. So there you go. Those are all my loose carts. And those are all my, basically all my games that are still in box. Let me know down below which of these video games you thought was the coolest. Which one, if you guys own any of these. Are there any Sega Genesis games that I don't own in my collection that you guys love, that you own, or that you just have those fond memories of? Let me know down below.
Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Columns free.
Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't? Buy a 16-bit Genesis system between now and October 31st and get an extra game.
So that's all the stuff that I have. Here's a little fun tidbit, okay? Now, as you saw, that I do have Street Fighter for Sega Genesis. I also have Street Fighter on a few other consoles. If I had a nickel for every single Street Fighter 2 game I have, I'd probably have 15 cents. Anyways, that's basically this console right here. I don't know if you could still get this thing. I would suggest, if you don't want to spend the money on this thing to, like, I would say spend the money on this just to play the old cartridges. If you want the built-in games, to be quite honest with you, go with the Sega Genesis Mini Classic, kind of like the Super Nintendo Mini Classic. I find this is really great if you want a built-in game experience. This to me is a superior quality console over this, obviously. But the Sega Genesis Mini, I would suggest really going after that if you can. Same thing with the controllers. Like I showed you, it comes built in with this really crappy controller that barely, like I said, barely recognizes it. And when you come to the Super Nintendo Mini, it's just a better controller because it's basically the better controller. And as I showed you, I did have to buy the wired Sega Genesis. So if you're going to go with that console, like I said before, be aware and grab this right here. Get yourself the wired ones, I mean. But lo and behold, that is going to be it for today. I really hope that you guys get a chance to watch this video, that it has not been corrupted, the files, because this is something I've been wanting to do for a while to show you guys. Again, let me know if you guys have this, if you know this, if you're interested in trying to seek this out, it's not the best. It's not the best thing on the market, but like I said, I have it because I knew I was able to play the cartridges. And sometimes when you go to find, you know, older consoles on secondhand vendors, sometimes they get a little pricey. Like my cousin who likes to sell Nintendo 64s pieces separately. So basically, you're paying for the console, you're paying for the controller, you're paying for the wire. So just be careful when you're doing that. All right, I'm getting out of here today. Please and thank you, subscribe to my channel. Keeping it up here for now. Click the bell to be notified whenever I got some brand new content up. I've also got my stuff on Premiere. Guys, I also have a playlist of video game content, so if that's something that tickles your fancy, I got a whole playlist on video game content that's really fun. I got another playlist on reviews, so if you guys like that stuff too, all that is there. I will be back. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and as always, it's cool if it's nerd cool. Genesis does what Nintendo don't.